The Zuliani family has been a fixture of the real estate and hospitality industries in St Kitts and Nevis for the best part of 4 decades. The late Archie Zuliani came here from Toronto, Canada in the early 1980s and began to develop and renovate coastal properties. Now his son John is the island's best known developer. We have come to the Royal St Kitts Hotel in Frigate Bay to ask Mr. Zuliani how his family has kept its faith in the tourism industry of these islands for so many years.
We have the ability to accommodate short-term hotel guests as well as long-term guests. So there are some medical universities on island, and medical tourism is growing in St. Kitts. Another thing we're working on is trying to work with a healthcare group to open certain services so that we can focus on the healthcare services that St. Kitts could eventually start providing. So I see it all together, and in St. Kitts, just focusing in one area can be very tough to survive. You know, 5-star hotels are beautiful, but they're very expensive to operate.
And have you seen a significant transformative effect from the funds coming into the Citizenship by Investment program?
Basically, I've seen a shotgun effect since CBI kind of took off. You have a lot of developers, investors willing to invest because of their citizenship approvals much sooner and at a much faster rate than somebody would be investing without those approvals, because it gives you added value to your project. I'm a perfect example where we built a beautiful shopping plaza at the front of our hotel. I always wanted to build that, but because I got it approved for Citizenship by Investment, I went forward with it right away. That shopping plaza alone equated in 100 people getting full-time employment from the 7 small businesses opened in that plaza. So when you talk about tangible effects of CBI approvals and a project approved for Citizenship by Investment, a large investment made equaled by employment in the hundreds, I mean, that is a perfect definition of it helping and help stimulate the economy and the people of St. Kitts.
But CBI, John, is not without its controversies, and Canada has suspended visa-free travel for St Kitts and Nevis passport holders. As somebody who's attached to both countries, to Canada and St Kitts and Nevis, do you feel that this will change in the future?
I mean, I can say what I've seen in Parliament with the Honourable Minister Mark Brantley as well as the Honourable Prime Minister Timothy Harris have both made extreme efforts to work with the Canadians to ensure that the Canadian government is satisfied and happy with everything that St. Kitts is doing in order to try to get that visa-free access back. At the same time, it is only an online application, and you get 10 years visa-free or 10 years visa entry once you get approved for your visa. Petitions can still travel to Canada, just a little bit more paperwork to do before you go. But there's a lot of Canadians in St. Kitts. When you look at the ownership of the Royal St. Kitts Hotel, we're Canadian as well. When you look at the ownership of the Marriott across the street, which my father did start, but sold out, I believe they're Canadian as well.
And you've talked about some of these major resorts here in Frigate Bay. What is your investment strategy now for the future in St. Kitts?
So currently, last month we broke ground on 12 suites that will be Miami style, right on one of our beautiful pools. This will allow us to start targeting that higher end market at the same time in an affordable manner by satisfying the space. You know, a 3-bedroom villa is going to be 3,600 square feet, private plunge pools, you name it. We're going to have all the amenities there. So our strategy is just to continue investing. At the end of the day, St. Kitts is booming. We have a second construction pier that was a $50 million project coming to completion. That's going to increase cruise ship passengers up over 1 million. We've got a few hotels that are at the finish point of being completed. So as soon as these things are done, especially when it comes to the hotels, now the government and all of us hoteliers can negotiate with airlines to increase our airlift and reduce airline costs.